everyone. I'm Reiki Master Sharon, and welcome to Meeting of the Minds. Today, I have with me the wonderful Ashley Odenhal, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet her because she is one of the most encouraging people that I've ever met, and she's so loving, and she is really kind of, I feel so blessed to have her in my life, really.
Oh,
So,
my heart. I'm like, oh,
and
I don't know if I can take anymore. It's
um,
so like that's so the sweetest. Like, thank you. Like, I
you're
just feel
welcome.
like you have quickly become like my partner that I didn't know I needed, but I've always saw like my dad having this relationship, like a business partnership with somebody that they could go their separate ways and like go to different states and all of that, but then they always come back together whenever there's a purpose to serve, and they always like find such a good creative solution. And I just feel like that's me and you, and so I love stepping into it because it reminds me like of what I love about like my dad's business, like that he always finds like that connection. So thank you for being that for me.
Well, thank you for being that for me too.
Oh,
And
heart.
Ashley is she's a teacher and she teaches special education. She has a book that came out called The Glowing Stones, and she's selling that on Amazon, which is awesome that you're doing those things. And today we're going to be talking about the power of authenticity. And would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, Ashley?
Sure. I feel like you did a great job, and thank you so much for that introduction. I cut you off to be like, I don't know if I can take any more. The abundance of like all the compliments. Like, I love it. I've started to be able to accept compliments, but like that is something that I had to get some work to be like, oh my God, thank you. Yes, I am a seventh grade teacher. I work in a classroom, language arts classroom. I have it's two teachers in there. It's me and my co-teacher, and he's the general education piece, and then I'm the special education piece. But we're not supposed to, like, if you're in the classroom and like an observer that comes in shouldn't know the difference between who's who, because we're both serving the kids, and the idea is like this is my first year, so a lot of this year has been a lot of shadowing, but the idea is to have it be like us planning lessons together, and like my co-teachers are so awesome, like with how they've just allowed me to like immerse myself in like their wisdom, and because they've been there for a little bit, so it's like I'm able to be kind of like a sponge.
Right. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So I know that, like, I would like to discuss with you this concept of authenticity being the highest vibration.
Yes.
And when I first heard this, it kind of was like, wait a minute, what about love? You know?
Right.
So for me, it was kind of like this feeling that being authentic is kind of the highest version of love that we can give to ourselves. Because essentially, when you're being authentic, you're not worried about what other people are thinking or perceiving of you. You're being who you are and you're honoring your own feelings. And in doing that, you're giving other people an opportunity to kind of take it or leave it, or, kind of, it's very polarizing. It's very, you're going to magnetize people in that are really resonating with your energy, and you're going to push people away that aren't too.
Mhm.
So, what are your feelings on that?
So authenticity is like that is one of my core words of like where my last job interview that I went on, it was what three words to describe yourself, and um and I said I don't know if I was like authentic or authenticity. It's either or, but like authentic, creative, and transparent. Like those are like the three things. Like authenticity, I feel like is just yes, it's that feeling of love, but then it takes away all of do you hear the birds? They're like, hey, I
Yeah.
want to be on this. It takes away all of that external stuff. So in doing so, it's getting above that, but then you're radiating that energy, and then that is allowing other people to step into that within themselves also, because they're like, oh, this person's not scared to do that, like I'm scared to do that because there's some sort of fear, like So it kind of helps others normalize like the idea of kind of not really caring of that would bring you to the love part, because you're caring about what other people feel and what they think and all of that stuff and how they're going to react, and kind of like that level. So that goes down to the love, and then the authenticity would be like, okay, well, it I love them, but like I love myself, and I need to be closer to what God sees me as, and that connection, and then from that I can pour out that love, and then that would probably tenfold the amount of love that's just like base level worry love.
Right. Yeah, so I see it kind of as we all have a different purpose and we all have something special to offer the collective.
Yep.
And sometimes when we try too hard to fit into what everybody else is doing, it kind of takes away from that magical element that we all have as unique fractals of the
Right.
creator, you
Yeah,
know?
it's like somebody trying, like them naturally being funny, just like in their own states, like with their witty comments, but they don't think they're being funny, but then going out of their way to try to tell a joke, and then nobody really pays it any mind because they want to be polite, and then they say the joke again, and it's not funny because it's not like they're trying to be funny, like it's not
Yeah.
like them naturally being like, oh, like just being themselves, like, because that adds so much more value, like, because then it's like people are so gravitated towards people messing up and people being themselves because it allows them permission to do the same.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think that there are a lot of projections and judgments that have been placed on other people where they subconsciously, do that to other people because they felt like, well, when I tried to do this, then I was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Someone told me, why are you doing that? Why aren't you
I
dressing
had to
this
get above
way?
that. Like,
Yeah,
kind of like I had to grow through it. Why can't this person should have to do that too?
yeah.
They're not
And,
whatever unless they do X, Y, and Z.
right. And I think that is very limiting for all of us
100%.
in a authentic sense and an individual sense, because I mean, sometimes I go to the store and I look at clothes and I'm just like, these aren't me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's, I don't buy like literally what I'm wearing, and I'm glad that we're talking about clothes. Is this was from Sarah, who passed away in 2020.
Aw,
But I she it wasn't like it was unexpected. However, like she had gotten rid of clothes in her closet because she was cleaning out her closet, and gave me a couple of trash bags full of her clothes. So I so happened to, I did like, oh, like probably wore the shirt and was like, oh, I'm gonna wear this to work or whatever, like sending her
hmm
text messages. So this is before, like very shortly before she passed away. Um, but I get to wear her shirt and we're recording an episode. I'm so excited. Like
Aw,
that makes my heart happy. I think that she would be thrilled, 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 thrilled. Like she would have loved to have known you. And I know that like with your connection to like spirit, I feel like you guys would be fast friends. Like she's probably so grateful that I have somebody in my life that I can go to, that I would say the same things to her that I talk to you about. So
aw,
she's probably been a huge part of us getting connected. That I'm
that's
just saying this
awesome.
right now. Like I'm like, oh yay, that makes me happy.
I think it's great because, clothes and, physical items like that that hold sentimental value can make us feel closer to energies that have passed away
Yeah.
because they help bring up a sense or a memory. Just like, music can do the same thing, scents can do the same thing.
Yes.
I mean, whenever I smell lilacs, I think of my grandpa, and that helps me to connect with his energy again. So I think it's great that you have a piece of Sarah here with you today too. So thank
Like it's
you.
like I wore it all day today at work, and so she just goes around with me everywhere. Like she just, because she gave me like uh, all of my clothes typically are hand me downs, because I'm not hand me downs like, oh, people are outgrowing them, but in the sense that they're like outgrowing the season and it's the next year and they're like moving on, and I'm like, give me your clothes, like I don't spend money on clothes. Like when can that change? Like maybe I need to step. I think that my authentic self is saying, Ashley, figure out what your style is and then go shopping for that style. It's not
Right.
like what's available right now. So I think I need to figure out my style. Maybe I'll get on Pinterest and figure out what I like. And
Yeah.
then, okay, I like this. I like where this is going.
Yeah, because I mean, like, for me, with my awakening journey, like, there have been a lot of things that have come to my awareness that have kind of really bogged down my energy.
Yeah.
So, like, I've noticed that I will now look more for, 100% cotton clothing because I'm trying to really stay away from the polyesters because that can have an effect on my hormones. And I already have a issue with endometriosis in the past that I'm healing through. So, like, to me, when I go and I look for clothes, it's hard because, I see a lot of things that people wore maybe back in the day or more things that people wear to like Renaissance festivals or things like that, that I'm like, why isn't it normal for us to wear these things,
Normalize it, girl. Like
Yeah,
I would
like,
be if that was like I am not against wearing a prom dress to work if I feel
yeah.
like it. Like I if the day comes that I'm like I want to wear this to work and I let's go.
Yeah, and I've seen people like I worked at a retail store that's pretty well known for a long time, and we've seen all different kinds of people come in and out, and I would see people who would come in and they would just be authentically wearing like these outrageous outfits, and I
And
was
it's so
just like,
fun.
yeah, and I'm like, how awesome is that that this
Yeah.
person has the confidence and
Like they
to
don't
actually
care.
express themselves in such
Yeah.
a way,
Like not
because
this yeah. I love
yeah,
it. Like there's like they're there and like, hey, take it or leave it. And they're going to have their people flock to them and be like, oh my God, where'd you get that? Like, oh, I made it myself. Like whatever it is. Like they know
yeah.
the conversation starters. Like they
Mhm.
I love that. I love creativity. I just love I love all of it.
But then it comes to a point where, like, what makes me comfortable? Like, what I'm wearing now makes me feel comfortable. Like, this hoodie I got on a vacation with me and Ivy. We went to Joshua Tree one year and we flew into Los Angeles. So when we were flying back, I bought this at the airport. So,
Oh
like, that has kind of a sentimental meaning for me. It's kind of, light and it makes me feel like I can move and I'm not constricted.
yeah.
And those things are important to me too. But like sometimes I would like to dress up and, kind of just wear something that's outrageous and be okay with it, even if someone called me a skink. You know what I mean?
Right. And you know what? Go do it, girl.
Yep.
Go get that dress and or you can either get a dress or go to like one of those picture places and just go get pictures taken of like
Yeah.
you in a Renaissance theme.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think if I were more inclined to be more creative, to create my own items of clothing, it might be
Ooh.
better for me, but I don't know how to do that. But
What
I,
if
like you said, we could do like Pinterest or something and see if there's someone out there that does have those talents,
yes. Or if you like to like draw or anything like that, like you could draw it up because everything has to be created twice or more times, like where you could have whatever idea, like, oh, cool. Or like somehow get it from your mind to paper or whatever, and then figure out how to make the dress. Or like maybe it already exists somewhere, and maybe I think Pinterest is gonna be good just to at least get that starting, like the gears going. I love
Right.
I feel like because everything is a skill. So but it's either like where you're like, ooh, no, thank you, because it requires energy. Like I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, so you already know this all, so we're good.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like this is a very magnetizing way to do things too. Like when we actually step into a business or something like that where we're having fun and we're enjoying what we're doing and it is fulfilling for us on a spiritual level, that is very magnetizing to people too. Like
Yeah.
people can tell when you're having fun, when you're doing something that you love. And they can tell when you're not, like you were saying with the jokes, right? Like if you went to go see a comedian and they were just trying too hard to be funny, it's
And I
kind of
just
you
like it
could
breaks my heart because I'm like I hate seeing people in pain or embarrassed. Like I hate it, hate it, hate it. Like there's nothing I hate worse than, well, somebody hurting somebody like that, but like of somebody, like I hate seeing it. Like I'm just like, and so I'm like, oh, like please don't say it again. Don't say the joke again. I cut you off though. Continue.
no, no, it's
I'm just
okay.
cringing over here because I'm like, oh,
Yeah, because you do. You feel bad for the person that you see that they're looking for validation.
yeah.
And I think at some point we have to move past that needing validation, whether it be from our
Mm,
work or our family or our parents or anybody else, because nobody has the frequency that we do. And
I
nobody knows what our frequency is or what we need to be projecting into the world to make it a better place. And everyone can have their ideas of what that is, but until we actually truly step into it, they're not going to know. And I think that's why a lot of times many artists kind of go through this stage where they kind of lose everything before they become really famous.
right, to see like what, yeah, I like that. I kind of like, I don't know if this is going to go off on another like tangent, but like I think it's important to, I don't know if everybody has learned that, you know, like I think that there, so I mean like it took me, well, I guess I've always known like that I'm authentic, you know what I mean? But like I don't know if when I was medicated on like my ADHD medicine, if I would have had the same like transformation that I've had without it. Like, so I don't know. I feel like I'm losing probably like where we were going with this, but I had a point there, but
I think
I don't recall what it even was. It had nothing to do with the medicine, but I just now was like, hold on, wait, that's interesting. You know, like
so. You feel like being on the medicine maybe kind of numbed your reactions to
oh,
things.
100%. Like I tolerated the stuff that I couldn't tolerate unmedicated, like for 10 years. Like it was a lot of stuff. And so, like in my work environment. And so I just unmedicated, like I was forced because there was a national shortage. So I was forced to detox. And I had been on the medicine since I was a sophomore in college, I believe.
Mhm.
The exception of when I was pregnant with my son. So 10 months or whatever, 9 months, however long you're pregnant for.
Yeah.
But like, so I've been on it since my 20s. I'm 38. Like, and so I guess this would have been back in like 2022. But yeah, like it just like was like a hard hit to a reality check of like, I was going through everything very robotically, very, yes, like very by the book. And like, wasn't thinking of the future because I had already gotten to the future place. Like my future was, I was at the end of it. Like of we had the house, we had like a family, like it was like we had it, you know?
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, this is it. Like, guess this is it. Like, and then I was like very much like, I guess like self-medicating, I would say. And then as soon as I like got off the medicine and stuff though, I was like all of a sudden I could like start feeling my emotions, and like I wasn't drinking either, like alcohol. So that was helpful to actually be able to like really do layer by layer, and as things come up, like actually like identify them and like look into them and see like what it is that's coming up.
Right. So like th- as you were talking, it reminded me a lot of this book that was suggested to me to read by Sarah Boyer suggested it. I don't know if you know her from the CBA. But
I'm excited to. It's probably a different spelling that I'm like picturing in my head. That I'm like,
yeah,
okay, like as soon as I see like picture with spelling, I'd be
yeah,
like, oh yeah, absolutely.
right. So she suggested that I read this book, and it was called like Outwitting the Devil, I believe, by Napoleon Hill, I think.
Okay.
And I read this book, and basically what it was saying was that the devil basically grabs hold of us or has control of us by taking away our ability for thinking for ourselves,
Mm,
you
that
know,
makes sense.
and huh?
I said that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So he was saying that he did it a lot by using cigarettes and alcohol, which
Mm.
the cigarettes was kind of that was kind of interesting for me because I was like, but it makes sense because it is very highly addictive.
Well,
And
I think it's the socialization aspect too. When you can trap people in a mundane thing of like I see it in the bar scene. Like you I stopped working in the restaurants like years and years ago, or I guess 10 years ago, whatever it was, like back if I had been at my job since 2012 or whatever, before 2012, um
Mhm.
doing the restaurant thing. And I came back into it after I had lost my job after 2022 getting fired, and I came back into it, and it's like the same people are still like it's their same reality, and I was like wow, like things haven't changed in their lives or anything like that. It's just the same day, different year. And that I mean, like, and if that's like no judgment at all, like at all, because if you are happy doing that and that's your social scene, awesome. But if it's using it as like a crutch to be like I don't want to grow, or like I feel like that could easily get you stuck where there's not you don't think of options to grow because everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's in that same environment of feeding themselves the alcohol because that's what they're doing. And there's nothing like seriously no judgment. That was my life for a good amount of years of like those were my people, like, and serving like in the bar scene. Like I still do and I adore it. Like I can have a conversation with anybody. Like it just I love it. And but there are certain people that I do see that I'm like, okay, it's the same. And maybe it's just me speculating. Who knows?
I think with like drugs and alcohol and these kinds of things, like I had a client who was a trauma therapist, and she was telling me how a lot of her clients wouldn't be alive right now if they didn't have those things to use as a crutch as they were learning how to cope with all of the horrible things that have happened to them.
Wow.
And, you know, I that's how I see it when I see someone who is struggling with these things, and that's why my passion has been to kind of show people that there are healthier coping mechanisms to
I
deal with
love
these
that.
kinds of things.
Because that's all
Because
you want in the moment. You want to get out of it. Like, I mean, some people are happy drinking, but like I was to the point where I wanted out. Like I was like, I don't want to be reaching for alcohol. Like there was a cognitive dissonance and I didn't know that. And so I had to learn that. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. And so it was a
right.
lot of like, I mean, thank God, like that I had like that was able to numb me for a long time, you know, like I can so resonate with your message here. Like I'm so like taken aback, like in a good way, like in awe. Like I'm just like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because, you know, people do these things because they're not really sure which way to go, or, you know, for me, I felt I was in that position at some point too in my marriage where, you know, I didn't want to be where I was, and I wanted an escape from the reality that I was living. And, you know, it took God actually uprooting that whole situation out of my life in a very traumatic way for me to move past it because I'm so stubborn, you know. But, you know, these things happen. And I think as long as we can see it and grow from it, like I'm very happy that I was pushed out of that situation because it made me go and realize that how unhappy I was in what I
Yeah.
was doing because
Because
I
there's a reason that that's what, you know, because that's all like, and it starts in childhood and all of that. Like,
yeah,
it's, yeah, sorry to cut you off, but I'm like,
no,
yeah, I'm like chiming in because I'm like, so, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, like it's difficult to see the light when you're in the pit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard to see, and it's hard when you're so fed this narrative that you're supposed to do something, you're supposed to be something, and for me, getting a divorce was something horrible that I was, breaking my commitment that I made to God. But I truly don't believe that God wanted me to be miserable in that state where I was any longer. And I
And
think that's
I think God
why
knew
those,
that this was happening anyways in the future. You know, during when you said your vows, he likely already knew that the amount of days that that would last. Sorry to cut you off
yeah.
again, but I'm like,
And
he
that's the
100%.
thing is like with our free will, we can decide to get into a relationship or a dynamic with someone that we think is our forever person, but then we realize that later that we had it wrong. And I think it takes a lot of strength to admit that you were wrong,
Yeah.
because I had to admit that I was wrong in that situation, that that wasn't what my end goal actually was, and that there was actually something else meant for me. And
Yeah.
that it played a role and it played a part in a season, but it wasn't meant to be my whole story. And there are a lot of people within their free will who will take that and they will die in it. And that's the sad reality. If and that's where I'm getting with this whole concept of the devil having control of us by taking away our free will decision to make decisions for ourselves. And, you know, I had to get away from that situation to see how it affected me, to see that I still was capable of being happy. I thought that that just went away when I got older, that I was just in pain because I was getting older. And that's just what happens when you get older. And I was only
Yeah.
20 something.
Right. Yeah. You're like, hold on, wait, no, you're still a baby.
Yeah, I'm like, I have my whole life ahead of me and I'm
Yeah.
just ready to sit up and give up and just die here like this? No.
I'm so glad that you like were able, like, I hear you too, like that if you don't know, like, I'm glad we're having this conversation. Like, for
Yeah.
those that feel like it is like absolute, like I was sobbed into my little sister's arms. Like, I was just like, had gotten fired. Like, I did not know. Like, I felt so unworthy. Like, bottom, like, pit. But then I got to rebuild everything back up. I got to be intentional of who I wanted to surround my time with, where I would say yes. I was very intentional about letting things in. Like, our friendship has been just amazing because there's zero pressure. It's like, hey, we talk a million times a day, like over text or messenger or just whatever we're on. But
Mhm.
it's like, we, if I didn't hear from you, I likely would text you and be like, hey, just checking in to say hi, I'm thinking of you or whatever, just to make sure that you're cool. But like,
Yeah.
it's zero pressure. And I just adore that.
Yeah. And I think that's great too because I think that was one thing that I missed in that element of being in my union with my ex-husband was that I felt very disconnected from my people, from my,
You
people who
start
were supposed to be
forgetting who your people
supporting me.
are too.
Yeah, because I was very he didn't like me hanging out with my mom and he wanted me to be there with him and he didn't like my friends and I felt very disconnected from everything and everyone.
Like having to like
And
choose between, because you made this obligation and you're trying to be the good person of like doing what you committed to. Yeah, I truly think that you I'm so proud of you. Like, there's it's just remarkable the fact that that somebody can just like wake up and be like, okay, yeah, like, like, this is
I know it was hard
it's
in
like
the
office
moment
day.
because you want to be a good wife, you want to
Yeah.
be, but it really comes down to at the end of the day, what is going to make you happy? Because if you try to appease someone else for the rest of your life, it's going to make you miserable. because you have to have a self-honoring aspect and you have to be able to align with someone who can respect that you have other callings than just them, you
Yeah,
know?
I think that that comes with like emotional like maturity too, and
Right.
all of that. Like where, yeah, I feel like there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot to unpack there. Like I'm excited
Yeah.
to go into more and more calls. Like I'm like, hold on, wait, when can we do this
Yeah.
again? And how much time do we have left? Like,
Aw. Well, we can always go into it again because I know that we're getting kind of long into the session and I don't want people to feel like they can't watch it all. So thank you so much for being here with me today, Ash. Oh, you don't want to, did you want
no, I feel
to?
bad. I was like, I don't want her to think that I'm like just
Oh,
trying to cut her off.
oh, no, no, no. But I
Good.
definitely do think that we can do a part two to this, and I'm
Yeah.
excited too. Okay.
What if all of a sudden that was like my tactic to be like, just start pouting? Like, I'm like, no, I just was mortified, like that I cut you off. I'm like, no, I wanted her to be able to keep talking.
Oh, no, no, it's fine. But I think that we do have a lot of things for people to kind of mull over with this, and that'll give them some time to digest it, and then we can come back to it at another time. And I think that's perfect. Don't
I
you?
love it. I'm so excited. I just love our conversations. Like I love scheduling calls with you because I know whatever my baseline is at the moment, it's going to be like magnetized. Like I don't even know if that's a word. I'm like an English teacher. I should know like a lot of vocabulary. Like, hold on, wait,
Oh.
first year. I can only use that 1 year. It's my first year. Like,
Aw. I'm
uh,
so proud of all the things that you're doing too.
oh, thank you. I'm just excited. Like, we're going to meet back up, and I'm excited for part two and to see like where this goes. I love you so much.
I love you too, and thank you so much for being here with me today, Ashley. And for anyone who would like to see more content like this, please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to connect with Ashley, you can find her on Facebook as Ashley Odenhal, and I will try to leave a link to her book in the description. And I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.